Good morning. If this is your first time, I'm Kyle, and I'm one half of the Wandering Shores. Along with my wife, Michelle, we've been traveling the country for the last 2 years in our 28-foot travel trailer with our 4 cats. And as you saw from the title, we're here to talk about Starlink. So for those of you who this might be the first video, this is actually the 5th video in a series that we started way back in January of 2022 when we first got our Starlink. We've returned to the place where it all started. Our Starlink journey started in Yuma, Arizona at the long-term visitor area. And we are back for our second winter here, and we're going to tell you what's been going on over the last 12 months, how Starlink's been working for us. We're going to show you our new setup. Some things have changed since our last couple of videos as far as how we mount the equipment, and we want to show that to you and provide any links that might be helpful if that's something you're thinking about doing with your unit. So a little more background information that might help. When we put out our last video, which I believe was in probably about March of 2022, at that point there really weren't a lot of videos out there on Starlink kind of detailing what the service plans are and etc. So, but since then things have blown up. RV Starlink has come into fruition, and there are a lot of videos out there explaining what options you have. But this isn't what we're going to focus on in this video. We're going to just focus about our experience, what type of connections, speeds we've been able to have, where we've gone, how many times have we moved, what service do we have, and our setup. So hopefully this will be helpful for a lot of you guys. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them below. I feel like at this point we're pretty much Starlink experts, and we've also had lots of our friends who have upgraded to their Starlink systems as well. So now on to the good stuff. So since January of 2022, we have moved through 6 different states. We started in Arizona, made our way eventually up to Utah, headed into Colorado, up to Wyoming, up to Montana, down to Idaho, back to Utah, and ultimately finishing up here in Arizona. During that time, I went back and I ran some numbers, so I got a little cheat sheet right here, so hope you don't mind if I pull that up every once in a while. But we have moved our service location 29 different times. So, quick update. We have the residential Starlink service with portability. When we originally ordered it, that was really the only option that you had, and the RV Starlink service did not exist. So we have kept our Starlink residential with portability. I really think for most RVers, especially if you don't necessarily have a place to go back to and need to worry about moving your service address back there, that's the option you better go with. Just because you get priority billing or priority service in most areas if you're able to move your service address. So back to the 29 different times we've changed our location. We have been able to move our service address 28 of those times. There was only one time, and that happened to be in Buena Vista, Colorado, where the cell was full and we were not able to move our service address, so we were actually using portability. Now, we've left portability turned on all the time just to make sure we didn't have to keep turning it on and turning it off, getting billed for a month and only using 2 days, etc. We just left it turned on. So we paid the extra $25 pretty much throughout this entire 12-month period. In those 29 moves, like I said, we were able to move our service address, 28 of those, and we've had fantastic service every time. We've not had any issues. We've had, speeds anywhere from 20 to 170 to 200 megabytes or gigabytes, down, and 10 to 25 up. So for those of you thinking about getting Starlink, if you don't have it already, if you're going to be out west, that's all I can speak about. We've been out west all year. We're heading back east next season, so things may change a little bit. I know most of the cells east of the Mississippi are full, so we're going to have to be using portability quite a bit. But out west, most cells are still open. there's such vast amounts of area that you can pretty much move your service address anywhere you're going, even near the national parks. We hit, I think, 13 national parks this year. So, and we've been able to move our service address basically to every single one of them because we parked in a boondocking spot outside those parks. I want to circle back to the one time we weren't able to move our service address there near Buena Vista, Colorado. We were still receiving during the day great speeds. However, at night we would get the notification that we were in a congested time, and the speeds for down would drop to about 5, and for up would drop to about maybe 3 or 4 up. Again, still very usable if you're going to be streaming TV and stuff like that. It's on the cusp sometimes if you're using video conferencing, but most of the time you're not video conferencing for work-related issues at 6 or 7 o'clock at night. So even that one time when we weren't able to move our service address, we were there for 2 weeks and really didn't have any interruption in service. So again, for us, 29 address changes, 6 states, it's been working fantastic. I highly recommend. Again, I'm not going to get into all the details about all the packages that are available, but we have the standard equipment with the 75-foot cable. We do have the 150-foot cable, but we've never had to use it yet. We mount it on the roof majority of the time. Sometimes we mount it on the ground. I'll insert a photo of our ground mount here, but that's not what we're currently using. I'm going to show you our new pole mount and how we secured it to the rig, because I think it might be helpful for those of you who may not have a ladder on your RV. Ours is a non-walkable roof, and so we had to figure out a better option. We were using suction cups, but I found that those suction cups over short periods of time would become unsuctioned from the side of the rig for whatever reason. I'd clean the rig before, I'd clean the suction cups, but for some reason they wouldn't stay secured. So we had to find a better option. I'm about to show you what that is. Alright, we're back here at the back of the rig, and I wanted to show you our new setup. So if you haven't seen in previous videos, we got our flagpole from Amazon. I'll put the link below. It's actually in our Amazon store, so if you want to go in there, we've got a whole specific section of the store that is for Starlink stuff that we've purchased, and all these mounting parts will also be in the store as well, along with the flagpole. So as you can see up here, we've got the Starlink mounted up on the top of the flagpole. Ignore that. That's our Ring camera, security camera up there. Those are in the store as well. But as you can see, we've now mounted this to the side of the rig. We do not have a ladder to secure the flagpole to, so we had to figure out a better option. We were using the suction cups, but we found that this is a much better option. So as you will see here, you know, this is a little nerve-wracking for some people, but we permanently mounted this structure and that one to the rig. What these are brackets that are designed to hold light bars on tops of SUVs and off-road vehicles. What we did is we secured them to the side of the camper, and I can show you, I'll put some links to the devices that we use, but basically this is a lag screw that goes through our rig, and this is our storage compartment below, and so we were able just to get on the back side of that and secure it. Up there, it goes into our living room. I'll show you that when we go inside. But basically these mounts stay mounted to the side of the rig at all times, and then we can disconnect the pole by taking off these Allen wrench bolts or screws, pulling this section off, and then just putting it back, and then we drive with that mounted on the side of the rig. That makes it super secure. You're not going to worry about your pole blowing down. I mean, I could probably climb up this pole. I won't demonstrate that. But the other thing we did with the flagpole came a mounting sleeve for different uses, and this is a little dirty, so please bear with me because we're out in the desert. What we did is I mounted this sleeve to these 2x4s, drilled some holes so that we can hammer down the tent spikes and give this some extra security down here as well. And then we just slide the pole in after we get here, and that's the setup. So it's been working great. We've had some 30 to 40 mile an hour winds, and we've had no movement, nothing, no concerns whatsoever from our Starlink mount now. So let me show you from afar. We run the cable in and out underneath our slide because we've got the rear slide bedroom, and it's been working great for us. We haven't decided to splice it or drill a hole to put it through or anything like that. We just put it under the slide through the gaskets and working great. So I'm going to take you inside and show you just kind of where our bolt comes through. Again, it's not for everybody. Not everybody is comfortable with drilling a hole through the side of their rig, but we put some silicone on it and it's worked fantastic for us. No problem. Okay, here is where the legs bolt came through. So that's about it. That's going to wrap up this portion or this segment and episode of the Starlink series. I'm not sure that we're going to have any more. There's a lot of videos out there now, but I just want to kind of follow up with everyone. This is the 12-month review of our Starlink experience. And again, 2 thumbs up. Highly recommend. It's worked fantastic for us. I realize that when we head back east next spring/summer, we're probably going to run into some congested areas. But for the most part, if you're going to be out west, I highly recommend Starlink. Residential service with portability is the way to go. It's the same cost, and you get priority data over the RV version. So if you have any questions, please put them below. If not, before you leave, one other thing. Please click the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and of course, hit the notification bell so you know when we got new videos coming out. See you next week.